Did you know to boil your blood, you don't even need to raise the temperature of your body?
I know it's a very weird question to ask, but to be honest, I didn't know that you could even boil your blood. I haven't really thought about it because I'm not a psychopath. If you work in the ocean, you will probably have to deal with decompression chambers because they are very common in preventing decompression sickness when coming back up from a deep depth in the ocean. For example, people who work on oil rigs use compression chambers when coming back up from working on the rig underwater. Now, if you've ever heard of the story of Deadpool from Marvel Comics, you'll know that his mutation is triggered by a decompression chamber. It's never specifically said in the movie, but this kind of looks like that. And come on, it's just a decompression chamber. So how the chamber works is that it increases the pressure in the chamber, which decreases the volume of his lungs, causing him to not be able to breathe. This is a property of Boyle's law, where if you increase the pressure of one area, a connected area will decrease in volume. What if this happens on like a bigger scale though? On November 5th, 1983, an oil drilling rig set off the coast of Norway named the Byford Dolphin had 4 saturation divers in a decompression chamber and 2 diving tenders working on an above-water compression chamber. These above-water pressure chambers are pretty useful because it is very easy to perform outside maintenance on them. You don't have to go underwater to work on them, hence above water chambers. The saturation divers themselves would be kept in this pressurized state of 9 atmospheres, so they wouldn't have to constantly recompress and decompress every time they wanted to go down and work a job, which would take at least 3 days to decompress and around the same time to recompress. The saturation divers themselves would get underwater by outside maintenance workers attaching a diving bell to the chamber. And they would clamp it on and then increase the pressure inside of it. And then they would open the door inside for the people to get into the diving bell. At 4 a.m., 2 members of the saturation diving team, Edwin and Roy, were asleep while the other divers, Bjorn and Truls, were coming back from an extended mission and were pretty tired. Diving tenders on the outside, William and Martin, hooked up the diving bell to the chamber via a trunk, which is a small hallway. As Truls and Bjorn transfer to the chamber, Truls is supposed to seal the door behind him and then call out to the outside workers stating that it is sealed. For some reason, nobody truly knows why, before they actually closed the door and sealed it shut, William unlocks the trunk and bell from the chamber. The force would later kill William on the way to the hospital. Truls had it the worst, being instantly crammed through a crescent-shaped hole in less than a second. The rest of the divers were completely intact when found dead, as if asleep. They were to have suffered decompression sickness severely and instantly died. Now, why did this happen? Well, I just explained it to you, but how does this happen from a scientific standpoint? Like, how was it supposed to go down, and how did it happen according to Boyle's law? Well, Boyle's law is the law that states that if the temperature remains constant in an area, the volume of a gas is inversely proportional to the absolute pressure. But all of the pressure from that chamber in the Byford Dolphin incident went from 9 atmospheres to 1 atmosphere in nanoseconds, with all 4 people in it. This change of pressure would usually take about 3 days to safely decompress from as a human. Boyle's law is the reason we don't go all around scratching our heads like, why are these divers just being shot out of chambers when we open the door? Not like it's a popular job, but still we would probably be wondering.